Ahoy!
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 5 of Bottom of the Stream.
I'm Nick.
I'm Adam. Welcome to the show. How are you, Nick?
I'm very well.
Yeah, all good?
Yeah.
Still in lockdown?
Sure am.
Me too, although I have gone back to work.
Well, actually, yeah, we've both just lied because I'm actually going to work tomorrow. I've been working anyway, but I'm actually going out tomorrow.
You're going into the office?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been back in the office this week. It feels weird. We're observing social distancing, so nobody complain at me, please, because I don't want to be there. But yeah, it's almost back to normality. I've got a bit of routine back in my life, which is weird.
Weird but good.
Weird but good.
It's like you're dipping the toe back into the water of reality.
Yeah, the trouble is, I think I'm going to get used to having a lot less people in the office, and I was going to hate it when everybody comes back.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the real adjustment you'll have to make.
Anything else happened to you this week that's worth mentioning?
What, in my normal, boring
life? In your
life?
normal, everyday life?
I've realised I would never want to be a teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kids being a bit of a handful.
It's difficult to do everything at once, isn't it?
True, I suppose if you're working and teaching and
too many balls
parenting,
to juggle.
Yeah, it can't be easy. I'm glad I just got myself to look after.
Movies to watch. That's the easy
good.
part.
That's the easy bit. My oven broke last week.
Oh, right, okay.
That was annoying. So I've gone a week without an oven. I fixed it tonight.
So you've been eating salad?
Yeah, quite a lot. I need to, though, the amount of weight I've put on. I had to teach myself how to fix an oven.
Well, there you go.
Good old YouTube.
If nothing else, there you go. You've learnt a new skill.
Absolutely. Right, shall we get into the show now? We've waffled.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll start with the socials. Follow us on Twitter at BOTS_podcast. Instagram is the same, at BOTS_podcast. The website is www.bottomofthestream.com, where you will find every season we've ever done and all the stream tables as well. And Patreon. Follow us on Patreon. We've got 3 different levels of Patreon, and you can get some cool merch and some cool bonus episodes. We've got a few bonus episodes coming soon. We'll give you that for a few pence.
Yeah, if you can't do that, then leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, because that really helps get more eyes on the show, turns it in the right places in the algorithm, and it's just cool to hear feedback as well.
Definitely. I'm not sure how many eyes we've got on the show, but ears on the show would be nice.
Well, both. Any sense you want to get at us, then
if you want to taste the show,
we'll take it.
Send me a private message.
Smell us. We smell good.
We do. Although 3 weeks in lockdown, I'm not so sure. Nobody's smelt me recently. I've not been in 2 meters of anybody, so I've no idea if I do or don't.
If you smelled that bad, you'd soon break the 2 meter barrier, I'm sure.
True, very true.
People would tell you.
Right, I've got some Netflix news.
Let's go.
Two pieces of Netflix news. Have you heard about what's happening in Ashford, in Kent?
No, you can get the train to France. Well, you used to be able to.
I think you still can. It's down that sort of area, at least. The local council have just passed planning permission for a £250 million production facility that will be leased to Netflix and Amazon.
Oh, lovely.
So they will be joint using this production facility to make the shit, whatever they're making, I suppose. Nothing at the minute, but by the time it's built. But yeah, I read that the other day. I thought that was quite interesting that they're going to have their own studio over here.
Yeah, that's really... No, I hadn't heard that. That's really interesting.
Probably in more important news for Netflix is, did you see how many subscribers they've added over the last 3 months?
I did.
Crazy.
So I think they've more than doubled their expected.
Yeah, in their at the start of the year, they obviously released what they're expecting, like estimates. They estimated 7 million new subscribers in Q1 and achieved 15.8 million.
There you go.
Q1. Well, that's worldwide, obviously. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Lockdown's good for some businesses, obviously.
Yeah, some businesses are really working. Yeah, that's my Netflix news. Thought it was quite interesting.
Their statement that accompanied it wasn't too braggadocious either. It kind of...
Is that a word?
Yeah, totally.
It's a great word.
But I'm paraphrasing, but it essentially said, we understand, we've had a good quarter, but it is because of these extreme circumstances.
Yeah, they kind of caveat.
They weren't blowing their trumpet of, look at how amazing we are.
Look how good Tiger King is.
Yeah, you're slaves to Netflix because you're stuck inside.
Yeah, they issued a memo to their stockholders saying, look, we don't expect this to carry on. Things will probably go back to normal eventually. But no, it's good. It's good for them at least. We should be getting some cool stuff from them. They've also said that they're not intending on running out of original stuff in 2020, even though they're not actually currently making anything. So that's quite good. That's good to know.
There's a lot of stuff in the bag, obviously.
Obviously is, yeah.
The problem is they might be reaching down to the very bottom of the bag to.
Well, that's good.
That's
where
some of these new bits off.
We sit at the bottom of the bag.
Yeah.
Is that a good name for the podcast? I'm not quite sure.
It's worse.
Last week we ran through the top 10 on Netflix.
We did.
And I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, we said we wouldn't do it every week because it might not change too much.
It's changed quite considerably over the last few weeks.
Let's do it again.
Last week, so I'm going to do it again. You might be surprised by what's in at number 10.
Okay.
It only went onto Netflix this week. It's Space Jam.
Oh, amazing.
It's a great film.
We may have a theme, but let's carry on the let's carry on the chart. But yeah, Space Jam's a great movie.
Yeah, 1996. It's about an hour and a half long. It's really good, yeah. So people obviously are checking it out, so go and check it out. Number 9 is also new. It's a Netflix original TV show called Outer Banks.
Okay.
Ever heard of it?
Is it about investment opportunities in space?
No.
Okay.
It says, on an island of have and have-nots, teen John B. enlists his 3 best friends to hunt for a legendary treasure linked to his father's disappearance. 10 episodes.
So far, so Goonies.
An hour long, almost an hour long for each episode. 10 episodes. According to my Netflix algorithms, it's a 98% match for me.
Ooh.
So I might check that out. Sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, you should.
Ozark's in at number 8. We mentioned that last week. That's dropped a few places. Money Heist is at number 7. That's also dropped a few places. Was in there last week. The Innocence Files is at number 6. Have you heard of this?
No, I don't think so. What's that? Hit me up.
It's Netflix's new documentary series. I watched the first episode yesterday, actually, and I really enjoyed it. It was quite interesting. So basically, there's this company in America called the Innocence Project.
Right.
And they basically take cold cases and they get letters from inmates claiming their innocence in America, and they take them and look at them and try and disprove them and that sort of thing. I've only watched the first episode, but it's really fascinating how, because these are like old, the one on the first episode is from 1990, and obviously technology and things have changed since then. One of the guys who had given evidence was discredited, and this guy had been in prison for like 30 years, and he hadn't done it.
That does sound interesting. Does it track it through to like conclusion, or is it did it end with this case is still ongoing?
The first episode didn't have a conclusion.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the others. There's 9 episodes in the season, but I'm definitely going to stick with it. I thought the first one was really fascinating. It was about bite mark evidence and how that can be disproved now. And
documentaries, I'll tell you, all the rage at the minute.
They are
on Netflix.
Netflix are killing it with documentaries at the minute. Number 5, Peaky Blinders.
Do you know? I've never seen it.
Nor me.
I know a lot of people are absolutely wild for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because it's the sort of thing I probably should like.
Yeah, me too. But I've just never been interested.
Never got to it.
No, don't know why. I think the new seasons come out, or some new seasons have come onto Netflix.
Right. Okay.
That's why it's jumped into the chart. But
people are doing a bit of a rewatch.
Yeah. Number 4 is Better Call Saul.
Sure.
Obviously, that finished last week. The finale episode came on. I've raved about how good this season was.
You have.
I was a little bit disappointed with the finale.
Okay.
Which is quite weird. It was a really good episode.
Are you just being contrary again?
No, I don't think so. I don't even know what that means. It was a really good episode. It just didn't feel like a final episode. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's not necessarily set up to be that.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's more of an ongoing thing. I mean,
yeah, but
Gilligan doesn't really care if it's a
and
finale
that really shone through. There was like a good shootout set piece at the end that was really good.
Yeah,
it didn't live up to the rest of the season for me, and I was a little bit disappointed. But it's really set up the final season, and you can really see where it's heading now.
That's the thing, isn't it? They're playing a long game.
That's what he does, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely can't wait for the next season, but I think we're gonna be waiting for a long time.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Number 3 is The Last Dance. You heard of that?
Yeah, I've watched it. I've watched the first episode. Yeah.
Excellent. Any good?
So, absolutely fascinating.
Really?
Yeah. So
I am going to watch it. It does look quite interesting. What is it?
So it's a documentary.
Another one.
It's a sports documentary. It's one of the 2 sports documentaries I've watched in the last week.
You are getting all into your sports, aren't you?
Well, between these 2 things and Tiger King, I'm a documentary only watcher now. So The Last Dance is the story of the Chicago Bulls 1997-1998 season.
Right.
It's basically telling the story of the last year that the sort of all-star team was together. So this is a team with Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen.
So it was when they were like peak.
Yeah, so they've just won 2 championships in a row,
right?
And they're coming back to go for the 3rd in a row. And basically, the first episode sets up that the coach has been told he won't have his contract renewed, and there's all these politics going on backstage in the office.
Yeah,
and it's all about egos. You know, the guys in the office don't think they get a fair crack of the credit for winning all these championships.
So is there like footage from that sort of era then?
Tons.
How has that happened? Is it just been on the show for that long? Or?
This is a great point, because this is what I was thinking when I was watching it. So this footage is 22 years old.
Yeah.
And they've got more practicing. They've got interviews with everyone. So the players, the executives, the coach. Footage in the changing rooms, in the practice ground, on the bus, on the aeroplane. So someone sat on this for 22 years, and now they've gone, this is the right time to make it.
How strange. That's really weird.
It is. This boggles my mind.
Yeah.
But I've watched the first episode. So Netflix they've not dumped it all at once. So they're doing 2 episodes at a time.
Oh right, okay, that's unusual.
And I watched the first one, and it's got me hooked. It's great.
Cool.
I think it's a really good story. I have a sort of a passing interest in basketball, in that I think it's an incredibly skillful game. I don't really know much about it, but I think this is going to be well worth checking out.
Cool, okay. Keep us informed then on how that goes over the next few weeks, if that's how they're going to do it. And I will with the Innocent Files as well as I watch it.
Deal.
Number 2, do you want to have a guess?
Has Tiger King come off the top?
It is. Tiger King is currently in at number 2 on Netflix. I don't think we need to talk any more about Tiger King. We released an episode last week all about Tiger King for about
check it out.
Nearly half an hour's worth of it. So yeah, check out our episode on Tiger King. It was the first time we've ever gone to the top of the stream for a prolonged period of time.
And we had a lot of fun talking about it.
Yeah, we did. It was really good. It's had some good feedback. So check it out, and check out the artwork that Ross Cook made, which you'll find on our Instagram, on our Twitter. It is amazing. Shout out to Ross. I think it's his finest work he's done for us to date. It's amazing. So what's in at number 1?
I actually know the answer to this.
Do you?
But I can't remember what it's called.
It's called Too Hot to Handle.
That's it. It's Netflix's version of Love Island, basically.
Yeah.
I did say to you off air that I might watch one just for research purposes.
Yeah.
And I've not been able to bring myself to do it.
Oh really?
I've heard it is awful.
Oh, you've let me down.
I'll try and do it for next time.
Do you know what it is? What's the concept?
So basically, a load of hot people, in inverted commas, are sent to a resort, and I don't know how long the period of time it's for, but they have a prize fund at the start of the show. I think it might be 100 grand,
right? And
they have to abstain from, as you would say, doing the naughty, because every time. So if people kiss, then they'll knock a couple of grand off the prize fund.
They can't do anything.
Sure. So if they go full on into the bone zone, then it's like 20 grand, I think.
No entry to the bone zone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you got to keep it in your pants.
I read a report earlier that they reckon bookies have slashed odds on it being this year's most successful reality TV show.
Really?
They reckon it might beat Love Island.
Again, it's fantastic. It's great timing for Netflix. You know, to push the button and release it.
So they did mention, though, that to beat Love Island, half the amount of accounts in the UK would need to watch it. But they have slashed the odds on that happening.
Okay.
I can't see it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not going to watch it.
Is that using Netflix's stupid counting algorithm, which is you have to watch it for 30 seconds or whatever it is?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes is classed as a view on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's your top 10. Have you watched anything else worth mentioning?
Yeah, I've watched another documentary.
Oh, God. You're really educating yourself.
Well, not really. I've watched another sports documentary, so that's it. I just watch sports documentaries now.
There's no sport to watch, so you have to watch the sports.
I don't really watch sport though. Even if there was sport to watch, I've watched season 2 of Sunderland Till I Die.
Oh right, okay.
Which is another behind the scenes sports documentary following Sunderland Football Club.
Right.
And their attempts to get back to the championship.
I've heard a bit about this. Apparently it's a bit like The Office. It's like crazy.
There are some proper Office-like characters in there. I would say the team, because they had a takeover of the club. The team running the club are a bit better this season than in season 1, but it's quite a close call.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's really well edited. They put all the drama they can in it with slow motion. There is a lot of match footage in there, to be fair.
Right.
And basically follow the story of how they may or may not throw it away for a second year in a row.
Interesting. I might check that out as well then. I need to find some more time. I need to not go back at work.
Yeah, it's gone a bit wrong for you in that respect.
Broken me. I watched a film.
Okay.
I was asked to watch this film by
Right.
our friend Alex. He didn't want to watch it, but he wanted me to watch it, and then for me to tell him if it was worth watching. So that's what I've become now. Become people's moral guide in films.
You in ancient Egypt when Cleopatra had a taste tester.
Yeah, that's exactly what I am.
Just to look for poison.
I'm being used.
That's you, but for movies.
I'm being used. I watched a film called The Platform.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is a new Netflix. It's Spanish.
I've seen the trailer. It looks interesting. I would definitely. I will watch it at some point.
I won't give away too much about it. I settled down expecting to watch this subtitled Spanish film. It's dubbed.
Okay.
Which I was quite surprised by.
It looked very Cube-ish.
It's exactly the same. Well, it's not exactly the same, but it's a very similar vibe to Cube. We talked about Cube on season 1. It did really well. Came really high up in the stream table. But basically, the premise is that this is a prison set over an unknown amount of floors, and every day a platform full of a great big banquet of food descends and stops on each floor for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're on floor 1, you've got pick of the pops. You can have whatever you want. But by the time it gets to floor 200, there's barely anything left, just scraps and all sorts of shit on there. And it's how you survive, because you're on each floor for a month. So it's how you survive that. If you can survive on one of the floors for a month, and then hopefully you'll get to a higher floor and you'll be able to eat in the next month.
Is the trick to it that there's enough to survive, but people are greedy?
That is exactly the trick to it. There is enough for everybody.
It's a good concept.
It's a really good concept, and it's a really good film. It's
cool.
It's really dark, like proper dark, and it's really dreary, and it makes you feel horrible about the way the human condition is.
Yeah.
But it's well worth checking out. I really enjoyed it.
I'm definitely going to watch it. I was going to suggest that it go on our list, but again, it's something that it went in quite high in the charts.
Stayed up in the top of the charts for
quite a long time.
Yeah.
It was heavily pushed.
It was, and it's too good to go on our list. So yeah, I watched that, and I've told Alex to now go and watch it, and hopefully he will, and then he can let me know what he thinks of it.
Ace.
Absolutely. Got anything else?
Yeah, I've got a game this week.
Wow, okay.
Not done one for a little while.
It has been a little while.
I say that like I've put loads of effort into this. I scrawled it down earlier on, and I'm not sure how it'll play out in reality, but we'll have a go.
Go for it.
So we are talking this week about a movie called Deadly Detention.
We are, indeed.
Which is about a load of school kids in detention.
Yep.
So I have got as a game about schools.
Okay.
So
I used to go to them.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
More particularly mascots.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 5 mascots, and I want you to tell me if they are real, education, or are they fake, i.e. from a movie or a TV show.
Okay.
Fabrication.
Okay. Education or fabrication.
Yeah.
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So let's play education or fabrication. The first one.
I need a jingle for your games.
Yeah.
I might make one.
Okay. Do I have to sing? I
No.
can sing. Okay. The first one is the Greendale Human.
Greendale Human. Now, that's vaguely familiar to me. Now, that's the only way that's going to be vaguely familiar to me is if I've seen it on the TV. So I'm going to say fake. Fabrication.
You are correct. Good start.
Where have I seen it?
So the Greendale Human is the mascot for Greendale Community College, which is the college in Community.
Which I've not seen, so I don't know.
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense, but it did sound familiar, so maybe I've heard of it somewhere.
It's basically just a guy in a morph suit.
Fair enough. A green one.
No.
I missed a trick there.
Okay, so good start, 1-0.
Cool.
The second one. So the Santa Cruz banana slug.
That That sounds disgusting. That's too weird to make up. Somebody's made it up there because it's either made up for TV or made up for real life. Santa Cruz banana slug. Real. Education.
Correct.
Oh, really?
Santa Cruz University. Their mascot is the banana slug. Unbelievably. That is true.
That sounds horrible.
I've got a picture. He's quite cute, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe we can tweet it out in the week.
Yeah, stick it on Instagram or something.
No worries. Okay, good. 2-0.
Doing well.
Right, let's go with the Stanford University tree.
The Stanford University tree. That sounds real. Real. Education.
Correct.
Oh, wow. 3 for 9.
What a boring mascot.
It's just a tree, or is it somebody dressed as a tree?
It's someone dressed as a tree. Like a big fir tree.
Wow. Okay.
Well, just seems
weird.
Bizarre to me.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, you've won already, but let's
keep going, because I've never got 5
finish.
out of 5,
just,
so let's see
just
if we can
for
do
fun.
it.
I think you might have a good chance on this one. Of any of them, this is going to be the one.
Okay.
So, the William Penn Academy Quaker.
That's from the Goldbergs.
It is, correct.
Fabrication.
Well
Excellent.
done.
That was good. That
So
Barry
4-0.
plays that in the Goldbergs for a couple of episodes.
He does, yeah. So, you've got one more.
Okay.
So, the Rhode Island School of Design.
Yeah.
Their ice hockey team is called the Nads.
Right.
And their mascot is called Scroty. And he's a full-on cock and balls.
No way. No way. That's definitely not real. Fabrication.
I'm afraid it is education.
Ah, damn it. I've never got 5 out of 5, and I really want to.
I'm going to send you a picture while we're talking.
Okay.
Of Scroty.
Scroty. Last time you sent me a picture of Scroty, it didn't end well.
No.
Your missus was not happy.
He said we wouldn't do that again. Good. Well, you still won. 4-1.
4-1, I'll take that, but I would have preferred 5. But,
Yeah.
well.
Well, something for you to still aim for, isn't it?
Yeah. Send me this picture of Scroty. I want to see it.
I'm going to.
Okay. I want to see your Scroty.
It's good podcast entertainment, me texting you.
Yeah. Well, we'll put a picture. Is it okay to put it up on Instagram?
Yeah,
I'll logo on it?
I will send you this quick one now. This probably isn't the best one, but it's the funniest one. But it's him in action on the ice. It's winging its way to you.
I have it. Oh my goodness. That's insane. How have they got away with doing that?
I don't know.
It's literally a man dressed up as a cock
So
and
I was
balls.
reading about this earlier, and their basketball team. So their ice hockey team's called the Nads.
Yeah.
And their basketball team's just called the Bulls.
Really?
It's the Rhode Island Bulls.
That poor man who has to dress up as that. Look at his face. He looks so disappointed in himself. I'll get that. I'll definitely get that out on Instagram. We'll check. We'll let the viewers see. I've called them viewers now. The listeners see that.
The team logo is quite good. It's a couple of ice hockey pucks, and then the stick is protruding from betwixt the pucks.
Betwixt. I love the word betwixt. It's one of my favourite.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's really made my day. That's a thing in real life. It's not a good looking cock and balls, is it?
No.
If there is any such thing.
I'll get to send you the logo as well. I don't know how much this will make the the edit, but it amuses me.
We are like nearly half an hour in already.
I could assign it to you, your picture, so when you text me,
do it.
It's just have a massive cock and balls. There you go.
That's
Send
brilliant.
you a team logo.
That's brilliant. Nads. That's insane. How they get away
Unbelievable.
with that. It is unbelievable. Right, on that note, we should probably talk about the film.
Let's do it.
So this week we watched a film called Deadly Detention.
We did.
It is from 2017. It is unrated in the UK. So nobody's been bothered to watch it, obviously. IMDb have it as mature. No, Netflix have it as mature. IMDb have it as unrated. It's on for an hour and a half, 1 hour and 30 minutes exactly. Currently rated at 3.4 on IMDb. Very, very low for what we've been used to lately.
That is low.
Very, very low. There's actually only 7 people in this film, which is unusual. It's quite a low number. Stars Alex... I don't know how you pronounce this. There's no vowels in it. Frunke, Frnka, who plays a character called Lexi.
Yeah.
She is most famous. She was in the US version of The In-Betweeners.
Okay.
She played Carly.
Never watched that.
Not me. Don't think anybody has. Also stars a lady called Sarah Davenport, who plays a character called Jessica, who loves a horror film, but she's never been in any that you'd probably heard of. And a guy called Henry Zaga. presume it's Zaga, Z-A-G-A?
Sounds right to me.
He plays a character called Barrett. He's been in a couple of episodes of 13 Reasons Why, a couple of episodes of Teen Wolf, but I think he might be about to break out.
Why? What's the...
this year he's got a part in the new reboot of the X-Men films.
Oh, the one that's...
It's got Maisie Williams in and...
Yeah, but that's been on the shelf
It's been on the shelf.
Years,
it has been on the shelf for years.
And it's been quite the source of a lot of rumours as to why, as in, is it trash? Or is it a victim of bad timing because it was the whole Disney taking over Fox and then they're not interested in it because they wanted to go another way?
Yeah.
And, no one really seems to know.
It was supposed to come out. It's actually had 4 release dates.
Really?
Originally was supposed to come out in 2018. It's currently not got one due to the current situation in the world. It's currently in limbo, but it is due to come out. And I don't know, it's a reboot of a quite a big franchise. But it's not. He's not only going to be in that this year. He's also going to be in the TV series The Stand.
Okay.
Which is, and he's playing quite a big part. He's playing Nick Davenport, which is quite a big. If you know the story of The Stand, it's quite a big character.
Yeah.
The Stand's obviously Stephen King's huge novel that he wrote years and years ago about a virus that kills out the entire world. To be fair.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, he's got quite a big part in that. So this year might be his year if things fall right for him, or if things get delayed next year might be his year.
I mean, he's probably the best person in this as well.
Yeah,
to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. Directed by a person called Blair Hayes, who you won't really have heard of. He also directed Bubble Boy.
Oh, right, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Years and years ago. Yeah, it's pretty much the only thing he's got. He's done a few things, but that's probably the most famous thing he's done.
Okay.
2001 that was.
Wow, so a big break for him.
Yeah, he's done a few things in between, but not a lot. Also, we should probably mention this film on IMDb is called The Detained.
Okay.
But on everywhere else, it's called Deadly Detention.
That's a much worse title.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't make any sense for a start.
No.
So we're calling it The Deadly Detention. I don't know why it's called The Detained on IMDb. I couldn't find it anywhere. It hasn't got a Wikipedia entry. So this is like really, really is bottom of the stream. It's literally not mentioned anywhere. It's not even got Wikipedia. So
yeah, so Netflix has just picked this up and dumped it and
see what they can get out of it.
Hope that no one will ever find it and talk about it.
2 people have.
And here we are.
The only 2 views it's ever had. You got one word review?
Can I swear?
Yep.
No, I don't want to give away my thoughts. I'm not gonna choose that word.
Okay. We're gonna disagree on this film. I can see it now. We're gonna disagree on this film.
I'm just stalling. I'm thinking.
Okay, no, today.
I'm going with cheap.
Cheap. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you have that. It's definitely cheap. There's only 7 people in it. It's all in one building.
Yeah. Can I tell you the first thing that stuck out at me?
Yep.
And one of the reasons that makes me say it's cheap.
Go on.
I don't know if you'd have noticed this as much, depending on how you watch this. I watched this on headphones on my iPad a few nights ago.
Okay.
The music to this movie is god awful. It is the most generic, piped in, edited in afterwards, undramatic. It doesn't fit what's happening in front of your eyes. It's like they've just taken it off a free internet library. Yeah. It's awful.
I've actually written at some point during the film that the really weird 80s synth music starts playing for no reason whatsoever.
It's like they've used a temporary soundtrack from Night of the Comet or something like that and just bunged it on this high school detention film. Yeah. It's terrible. It really put me off a lot of the time. Yeah. That was my first thing I've got written down. My God, the music's terrible.
It is.
It carried on all the way through it.
It is pretty bad. This film's basically, it's a horror remake of The Breakfast Club, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
It's the Breakfast Club with a serial killer.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't, that's exactly what it is. If you like The Breakfast Club, which is also on Netflix now, I think it went on recently.
Yeah, it did.
So watch that and this and see what happens. I haven't watched The Breakfast Club in a long time. A long time.
My wife and my eldest daughter were watching Mighty Ducks the other day.
Oh, really? On Disney Plus? I heard that was on Disney Plus.
Talking of Emilio Estevez, yeah. Anyway,
let's get on with this film. Going on piste already. And so the film opens with a girl that's being chased down a corridor by an unseen assailant, and then it comes up on the screen 3 hours earlier. Yeah. So it didn't really start off very well in my eyes, but I'd hate it when I've mentioned it before, but I hate that sort of weak storytelling. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I didn't need it either. Just start with them on the bus.
Exactly.
It's pointless.
Couldn't agree more. And so 3 hours earlier, she's on a school bus with the rest of her class, I guess.
It's five kids.
5 kids, they're heading towards a detention.
I say kids, they're all mid-20s.
Yeah, they really are. You get a quick, brief look at the bus driver. He's got a shrine next to him for some bizarre reason.
Yep.
And we get introduced to everybody on the bus with a name card that comes up on the screen.
Yeah, look, at least they couldn't be bothered to do the exposition and the conversations
explain
or whatever.
Who's who.
Stick a caption up.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. We've seen it a couple of times, haven't we? It's like...
Yeah.
It's a weak concept.
They used it in a lot better in The Babysitter.
Yeah, I was just trying to think which other film we'd seen it in, and you're right, they did use it in The Babysitter.
But it was actually funny. There, not so much here.
No, not so much. Yeah, so you basically get introduced to every character in the film, well, all the kid characters anyway. And the bus driver drops them off, but they're not at a school.
No,
they're at a prison, which is random. And they all there's like a slow motion group shot of them all walking towards it with the title card underneath, isn't there? And it's very there's definitely an 80s vibe to the beginning of this film. Maybe not for the rest of it, but there is like a weird 80s vibe to it. But that's probably something to do with it being a remake of The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I didn't specifically think there was an 80s vibe to, other than the music. I didn't think that's particularly what they were going for.
No, I don't think they were. It's the slow motion walking and the title card coming up over them. It felt a bit 80s at the beginning.
I think it's probably the only effect they could afford.
It probably is, yeah. Basically, they get led off to this break room in this prison. I've written, this isn't a school, it's a prison.
Yep.
And the teacher comes in.
Sure. And she... so the teacher's called Miss Presley.
Yeah.
And she does give a bit of exposition.
Yeah.
And answers the question we're all thinking: why the hell are they in a prison? And
the most random reason of all time.
She delivers the line, which fell completely flat for me, that the reason they're in the prison is because their school is infested by possibly rabid possums. So they've been kindly offered the use of this disused prison to hold Saturday detention in for these kids.
Yeah. Whatever they'd done was obviously bad enough for them to have to hire a prison out.
Plausible, isn't it?
No. She even sets herself up a little office. Like she's going to be there all day. She's got she's got like a trophy and a book. She's even got a little bowl of sweets. But she's not letting anybody in there.
Pictures of the family.
Yeah. But then again, we do find out she's mental. She lists some rules off, doesn't she, of what these kids have got to do for the day.
Yeah.
And rule 1 was no talking. Rule number 2 was no leaving your seats. Rule number 3 was write an 800-word essay about a student who had killed herself. Dark. And then rule number 4 was that she was having all their cell phones.
Where did you get that from? Their essay was about themselves.
No, it was about the girl who killed themselves.
It wasn't.
Are you sure it was? I'm sure it was.
The title of their essay was that they had to write was "The Me You Don't See," and they had to write like an introspective about their feelings and stuff. Maybe she told them to think about the dead
Maybe
girl.
she did, yeah, I don't know. I've definitely written that.
You've been wrong before.
That's true. But the girl who killed herself becomes prominent later on.
She does, yeah.
So, yeah. Well, anyway, that's what I'm sure that's what she said.
Okay.
The jock lad. Well, it's not really a jock. How would you describe Barrett? Like preppy.
He is rich.
Yeah, it's like the Zach Morris of them all, isn't he?
Sure, yeah.
He wants to keep his phone because he's diabetic and he needs his phone. But she's
he's got an app to track how diabetic he gets.
But she's not having that. She just throws a sweet at him, which I thought was quite funny. That made me laugh. And then she leaves, so she kind of leaves them all to it to get writing this essay, and she heads back to her office. This bit was really creepy.
Yeah, she starts reading a dirty book, doesn't she?
She does that, but she also gets Barrett's phone out, and she starts going through his pictures, and there's like selfies and then some shirtless selfies. Yeah. And then from her perspective, you see her face change radically. These are high school students.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's obviously found his private folder.
Not appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. It came across really creepy, I thought. It was like, that's weird.
Yeah, she's just like getting all horny with his phone.
Yeah. For this presumably 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
There's a girl in there called Lexi, who is the flirt of the group, the slag, the slut.
Yeah, troublemaker.
She's kind of in there making a bit of an ass of herself, flirting with the lads and, well, flirting with Barrett. There's a quiet skater girl in there who apparently never talks. So she starts...
That's Taylor.
Taylor, yeah, she's teasing her quite a bit. And the teacher comes back in and basically gives her another detention.
Yeah.
So it's...
it's that old, you keep talking, you get another Saturday.
Yeah.
She still answers back.
Yeah.
3 Saturdays.
10
Saturdays.
She gets more Saturdays. The principal leaves again. I don't know where she's gone this time because Lexi kind of leaves and goes through into the office that she set up.
Yeah.
And she starts going through the principal's bag.
Steals a load of dollars.
Yeah, she steals some money. She finds the trophy that the principal got for Principal of the Year 2010.
Yeah.
She steals it and she takes it back into the room where all the kids are kind of working. And eventually it ends up being hidden behind Kevin. Now, Kevin is the gay, black, Bible studying kid.
Sure.
Obviously, because that's a stereotype these days. As the Breakfast Club's all about, that's probably where all these high school stereotypes came from originally? Probably. It's
what, you mean like
jock, nerd,
skate, goth / skater?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and I think this film tries to play on that a little bit, doesn't it? But it kind of twists them a little bit. Tries to, anyway. This trophy's now hidden behind Kevin and Jessica. Jessica's like the nerd athlete one.
Yeah, she's the one with potentially a future.
Yeah. The principal threatens to rip Lex's ear piercing out, which is a bit weird.
This was awful. So I've just written, this bit is awful. This bit where the teacher comes back in and she gives them all a dressing down.
Yeah.
It was just... Because at this point, I'm still not sure what film I'm getting. And this quickly made me realise the level of acting we're seeing, compared to something like last week, when we praised so many of the performances. Yeah,
we won't be doing that this week.
I could not think of anything more opposite than what we've seen this week, because this bit when Miss Presley is dressing them all down, it was terrible.
We did say last week, this is probably our own fault, because we did say last week that we felt like we'd been treated well recently by the randomizer. We'd had quite a lot of 6s in a row, hadn't we? And
yeah,
we were due a 3, and this is what we got. Yeah, it is really bad, that scene in particular. The principal then gets a phone call, and she leaves the room, and a few minutes later, they hear like a scream, and she's like kind of banging on the door, on the prison cell door, and she trying begging to be let back in.
Yeah.
And it seems like somebody's they just ignore her, basically. They're just like, what the fuck? I'm not doing that. And eventually a bloody handprint appears on the door.
Yeah, and also, the blood just looked bad. So, did you not even notice, it looked so cheap. It looked like food colouring.
Yeah, it did.
It was the wrong colour. It was water. It just looked shit.
Yeah. I get the feeling you didn't really like this very much.
I know I'm nitpicking, but it just looks really obvious because I'm not always that observant. And
that's true.
Yeah.
Although you did win the trivia question last season, so
well, maybe I'm turning a corner. But
anyway, yeah. So she's kind of begging and screaming to be let back in, and then eventually she goes quiet. Barrett tries to break down the door, and then Jessica has to go as well, but they realise it's a prison and you've got no chance of breaking the door down. And then this blood starts seeping under the door. You don't see any of it. They just kind of make out that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Lexi and Jessica have a brief fight about what they should do. They are freaking out at this point, but they don't appear to be that bothered that somebody's just killed their high school principal.
No, not really.
They don't seem that interested or that to care that much.
Until the doors start slamming open and shut.
Yeah.
And a voice comes through the tunnel.
Yeah, there's a tunnel system. The first time the tunnel comes on, it says, "I am your new principal. The rules have changed. The door is open."
Yeah.
And so they go through this door. The body isn't there anymore.
Nope.
That's been dragged off. So they figure, let's follow the blood trail.
Of course you do.
As you do. And Lexi's got the trophy, which is, when I say trophy, it's more of a...
To be fair, they're kind of still thinking, the teacher's gone to this massive effort to set this up.
Yeah, they're convinced the teacher's trying to...
She's a bitch.
And she's mental.
Yeah.
So Lexi's got this trophy. How would you describe this trophy?
It's like... it looks like Scroty from our game.
It's very what's the word, phallic.
Yeah,
it looks a bit like the Washington Monument, if you imagine that sort of shape.
Yes, it does.
It's a long pointy triangle glass trophy. Lexi's got that as like a weapon, and they head to the office to look for their cell phones, which is quite a clever idea, but they're not in the box. Their cell phones have been taken. And Taylor at this point starts talking. Now, Taylor's never spoken before in the film, and by the looks of their reaction, she doesn't speak that often anyway. She's the skater, quite skatery one.
Mute.
Yeah, and she tells them a ghost story. about an abandoned prisoner that was left in the prison when the prison was closed down.
Yeah, she just happened to read it before
they went in.
They left to this prison. Yeah.
So that starts freaking them all out a little bit. But Lexi's convinced that it's Presley, who's the principal, doing this to them, and they all kind of agree with her in the end. That seems the most logical conclusion to come to. This is where I've written 80s synth music plays.
Yeah.
All the doors are locked as they're going through these corridors, but one suddenly opens, which lets them through, and then another suddenly opens.
Yeah, so I think you quickly realise the idea in play here is that whoever this is at the other end of the public address system is very much herding them.
Yeah, he wants them to go in one particular direction.
They want them to go.
Yeah.
And he's obviously sitting in a control room, shutting and opening the doors that points them in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the tannoy clicks in again, and I think this might be the worst line we've ever had on Bottom of the Stream.
Okay, go for it.
The tannoy comes on and it says, "Who's going to make it to the end of deadly detention?" And I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
It's not good. So all the way as they're walking through these various storerooms and corridors, they're all still basically not taking it that seriously.
Yeah, they're all just joking about. Taylor makes Kevin jump a couple of times. She kind of jumps out at him.
They're pissing about, and all 5 of these people are absolute vacuous morons, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just, they're the sort of people who will be on Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah. They're very one-dimensional, very moronic.
Yeah. So before long, they find Miss Presley's body.
Yeah, they do find the body, and that kind of changes things a little bit.
So I'm going to say a positive thing.
Go on.
This is the high point of the film for me, where they find the body and they're so vacuous and moronic that none of them know how to check a pulse.
Yeah.
So Lexi says, "Is she wearing a Fitbit? That'll tell us if she's still alive."
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's the high point of this movie.
That's a good line, to be fair. The tannoy tells them to step away from the body, so they all do. And before they leave, Kevin decides that Lexi should do a eulogy, because that's something you do when you've just found a dead body. So they all kind of stand there while Lexi talks about the principal for a little bit. And Lexi decides to leave the trophy with the body. It's like a mark of respect.
Yeah.
So just give up your only weapon, leave it with the body.
But it's they've kind of left it there like almost as a headstone.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, but it was their only weapon they had.
Yeah, I know. Idiots.
Anyway, so they head into, I think it's a kitchen area next, and
right. So we are very swiftly going to my low point of this film with what happens next.
Is this with Barrett?
Yeah.
So they're trying all the doors, obviously, and they know that only one will let them through. And Barrett tries this door, and he pretends that he's being electrocuted.
But it's before that. So
okay.
The way it is this bit, but it's the bit that really just made me shake my head. Is one of them. I think it's Jessica. So they walk in front of this door, and out of nowhere, for no reason whatsoever, she goes, "There's something not right about that door."
Yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten about that.
And then carry on. Yeah, then
Barrett grabs the candle and pretends that he's being electrocuted by it, and they all shout at him. Jessica hits him in the balls. Then he grabs the door again because he wants to go through it, and this time he does get electrocuted by it. They all think he's joking again. Obviously, it's the old double bluff joke. But he is being electrocuted.
Yeah, his hair starts smoking.
Yeah, a bit like Home Alone. They decide that the only way to wake up somebody who's been electrocuted is to give him a kiss.
Yeah, so not a kiss of life.
No, just a kiss.
Literally a kiss.
Yeah, and that'll prove if he's dead or not, because he'll definitely wake up, because he'll be enjoying this kiss too much. So Lexi kind of straddles him and kisses him, and he does wake up.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah. Tanner comes on again with another awful line. No one leaves till detention is over. Okay. Obviously. And that's when Jessica, is the sporty jock of the group, she initiates a huddle.
Yeah, she gives them like a pep talk.
Talk, gets them all hands in the middle, team detention.
And they find a couple of weapons, don't they? So there's
they get some weapons.
A bit of wood, a spatula. Nothing too useful.
There's a point here now that actually did make me laugh, and it's really juvenile, but I'm going to say it because it did make me laugh. So they're walking down this dark corridor, and it's quite slippy.
Yeah. So
one of them says, "Oh, it's dark and slippy in here," and Barrett just goes, "That's what she said," and it just really made me laugh. And it's really juvenile, but that's what she said's always funny.
It just made me think he's another Michael Scott. But as they're sort of edging around that corridor, 3 of them work out that they were all framed.
Yep.
In that they didn't do what they were put in detention for.
Yeah.
And I've not wrote down what they were framed for.
No, not me.
But 3 out of the 5 of them were framed.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. That does develop the film slightly. If this film's got any development, that's kind of where it goes.
I'll just say at this point, we're like halfway through the movie. Nothing's really happened.
No.
And we've not seen the threat.
No, not yet. We're just about to.
I'm struggling with this at this point.
But I'll talk about my feelings.
Let's see what happens.
But so at that point, they eventually do see who's after them because he's kind of above them. Now in a prison, you get these like mesh catwalks, and he's on one of them above them, and he runs after them a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And they all lock themselves in a room, it's like an officer's room, I guess. It's very small. It's like a cupboard. And they start getting gassed. And this gas canister comes in, and that absolutely has no effect on them whatsoever.
I mean, it takes them a long time to get out of the room, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely.
So it's not effective as a weapon.
There's a couple of coughs.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Lexi climbs up into the ceiling because that's the only way out. And they can't climb through the ceiling because they can't climb along the ceiling because it's like foam. What do they call those ceiling tiles?
Ceiling tiles.
So they climb along the pipes.
Yep.
And Taylor's at the back, and she gets kind of. What happened? Did her foot get stuck?
No, I think her shoelace just got stuck.
Her shoelace got caught around.
She's wearing like Converse.
Yeah, and it got caught around one of the pipes.
Yeah.
Why don't she just take her shoe off?
Exactly.
Well, she didn't anyway, because this is the last we see of her.
So simultaneously, as they're crawling through the air conditioning and whatever through the ceiling, the killer is stabbing upwards
through the
floor,
tiles,
through the ceiling.
Yeah,
getting closer and closer to Taylor, who just won't take her shoe off.
No, she's just sitting there trying to get her shoe off, watching this knife get closer and closer to her, and then we never see her again. So
no,
I'm going to assume
you don't see what happens.
No, you don't.
That will be a recurring theme.
Yeah, it's my biggest bugbear with the film.
It cuts away before you see any death or gore, and I think I've said before I think it was Wish Upon. Check out our episode from season 1, where I've not got anything against a slasher film, but surely if I'm watching it, then
get to see the slashing.
I should, I should be there to see the deaths.
I was going to say that
to cut away at every single one.
That's my biggest bugbear with this film. That I was going to say it at the end, and I will say it at the end. But yeah, the fact that they cut away from most of the deaths is really
there's kind of a reason for it at the end, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Kevin and Jessica fall through the ceiling at this point.
Yeah.
You don't see that happen either.
No.
The screen fades to black after Taylor gets killed.
It's really comical, but unintentionally, because for the other 4, they fall through. Although they're really close together, they fall through the ceiling in a very comical fashion into completely different areas of the prison.
In fact, different floors of the prison, because they have to go back up through that corridor that was on a slant, which is why it was slippy.
Even though they were just crawling along in single file.
Exactly.
Through the air conditioning. Yeah.
When Taylor dies, the film fades to black, and when it comes back, both couples, or both 2 pairs of people, are just on the floor. You don't even see that happen. Yeah, so you've got Kevin and Jessica together, and Barrett and Lexi together, and somebody's coming for Jessica and Kevin. He's after them too.
So yeah, this is back to the brief scene before the right back at the start of the film.
Yeah, so he's got his stick and he's running it along the bars in the prison, chasing them. Then we cut back to Barrett and Lexi, and Barrett reveals that he's got a hip flask, which he must have had all along. So they take a few shots of whatever he's got in there, and then they kiss a little bit.
Yeah.
And then his shirt comes off.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, he's not got a shirt on anymore. Meanwhile, Jessica and Kevin are still running. Kevin's hurt his knee.
Yeah, she doesn't really wait for him.
No, she doesn't. Well, he's hurt his ankle, hasn't he? Because when he fell through the ceiling, he hurt his ankle. Jessica kicks a door open and they end up in a dead end. It's like the visitor's room, where you have like the perspex screens between the prisoner and the visitors.
Kev's got like light up trainers.
Yeah.
And at no point, he stops a couple of times to turn them
to fix
on.
them. Yeah, because when he falls through the ceiling, it breaks. And
so they're not being sneaky.
No, not
He's
at all.
not turning them off to help their hiding.
No, I did think that.
Anyway, there we go.
Cut back to Barrett and Lexi, who are now both topless now.
Yeah, full-on bone zone.
Full-on bone zone's happened. He's got bright pink boxers on. I don't know if you noticed, but they were like neon pink.
They're about to go for round 2, I think.
I did think that because they were just about to start when we cut away. We had one brief scene of Kevin and Jessica, and then they'd got their trousers back on. They were ready for round 2. It didn't last very long. Cut back to Jessica, and it cuts now quite quickly between the two couples, doesn't it? Quite a lot. Jessica's now had a crisis of confidence. She's
this bit was terrible as well.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Anytime anyone is supposed to be doing any acting, this just goes off a cliff.
Yeah, she's kind of she's decided she's resigned to her fate. She's stuck in this dead end. There's nowhere to go. Kevin tells her she's got to have hope because he's a what's the nice way of putting God botherer? Religious person.
He's a faithful Christian.
Yes, that's the word. Jessica decides she can't die because she hasn't made her dad proud yet. But Kevin talks her around and says, "You probably have. Your name's all over the trophy cabinet back at school." And they have a bit of a bonding moment between the two of them.
Have you wrote all that in your notes?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what mine says for that bit? It says, J and K are at a dead end. It's a boring bit. This is awful.
Well, one of us has to be thorough.
Okay.
This is the point where Barrett asks Lexi if she wants to do it again. And I've written the first time must have been very quick.
Yeah.
Jessica and Kevin they've managed to get out even though they were in a dead end and it was all hopeless a minute ago. They're now walking down a corridor again.
Yeah, but did you see where they hid?
Was it just like under a table?
No, they stood on the desk.
Oh yeah, they did.
Where one of the phones are.
Yeah.
And they just relied on the killer not looking around the corner.
And he didn't.
So he just looked into the room, but he didn't look
behind they basically hid behind the door.
Yeah.
Kevin realises that he's holding Jess back a little bit now because his ankle's so hurt and she could get away a lot quicker. So he kind of ducks away from her. He ducks into a doorway and leaves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But something's following him.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah, something's following him. So he kind of spins around and the film cuts to black again. And I was like, no! Jessica finds Lexi and Barrett just after they've got dressed. So twice in like 5 minutes. And the tannoy comes back on again and it says, please return to the holding area.
Yeah.
And it says it twice.
But they just get bogged down in slagging each other off.
Yeah, they don't do anything. They just
they're totally not taking on board this situation.
No, not at all.
They've gone back to like the playground. You're a jock. You're a slut.
That's exactly what it was. Like they kind of argue between the three of them. Jess cuts Barrett with a really hard line of "You're a waste of beautiful space." She calls him, and Barrett calls Lexi a slut. And he says, "When this all started, we all picked parts, and I picked popular." Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then he gets his head smashed through a window.
He does, yeah. so the two ladies sort of go off ahead. He's sulking, and then the killer turns up and puts his beautiful face through a window.
Yeah.
The girls come back. Killer's left.
Yeah.
And then
one of the girls says, go on, were you going to say it?
Oh, I think the same thing as you. So one of them says he wanted to die hot, and now he looks awful.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've written down. They get weapons again at this point, the two girls. Lexi picks up a fork, like a dinner fork, not anything special. And Jessica picks up a baking tray.
Yes.
So they're going after this person with a fork and a tray. Jessica kind of does a warm-up routine in the middle of the corridor.
Was that supposed to be funny?
Yeah.
It wasn't funny.
No, of course it wasn't.
But something as random as that could have been funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of this film that could have been funny.
And it wasn't. There was no subtlety or skill of how any of these roles were played.
No, not at all.
This, for me...
It's generic.
I would talk about, generally what I thought of the film, although I think you can probably guess. but going back to performances, I don't think we've seen many worse performances than everyone in this film.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. Anyway, we're nearly there. We're nearly at the end, so let's get to the end. They find Kevin's Bible at that point as well, just after she's finished working out.
Yeah.
All smashed up. And the tannoy comes on and it says, congratulations, you are the sole survivors. Now,
it's two of them.
You can't both be the sole survivor. You can't have sole survivors.
No.
It's not possible. So I've put a load of question marks after that because it really made me laugh. They kind of find a shrine, don't they?
They do.
So now you know exactly who's doing all this. They attack the guy who's in there and he manages to get the best of him and he traps Jessica's head in one of these automatic prison doors. And that's the end of her.
Yeah, smashy.
Yeah, she's gone as well now. And it's the bus driver from the beginning of the film, or the school security guard.
It's the portly, slightly unfit, balding, middle-aged bus driver.
Yeah, who's outwitted this high school senior principal and all of these kids.
Yeah, so he then proceeds to brag about how he set this all up.
Yeah, he put
including putting the possums.
I was just going to say that he put the possums in the school, and he managed to frame them all to get them all detention. He basically says, "Look, they're all dead. There's nobody left. You can scream, but there's nobody here." So it's just Lexi. It's just him and Lexi.
Yeah.
So he even makes her scream down the tannoy. It turns out he is the father of this girl who killed herself.
Yeah.
Back in the from the beginning of the film when they had to write an essay about her, and because he was convinced she was bullied at school.
Yeah, he says you all made her life hell.
Yeah, and Lexi said, "No, she had friends. We didn't. What are you talking about?"
In fact, coincidentally and conveniently,
yeah,
Lexi has a locket around her neck.
So he starts strangling her, doesn't he? And then she just shows him this locket.
And within that is a picture of the dead girl.
Yeah, Jenny.
And Lexi said that she was actually really good friends with her.
Yeah, they were best friends, and she gave me this before she died. And she said that the last time I saw her, she was all covered in bruises, which implies that maybe he was the one bullying her.
Sure.
Twist. And she says, she actually screams at him, "I didn't kill Jenny, you did." And then all of a sudden, his head gets bashed in because the principal isn't dead. She's come back in. She's got her trophy. It looks like the Washington Monument. She bashed him on the head with it.
Yeah.
Lexi, this bit made me laugh a little bit. Lexi freaked out and she was like, "Get away, zombie bitch."
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite funny. Presley says, "Oh, assembly's going to be depressing on Monday because all of your friends are dead." But then in the very next line, she says,
so they're walking away, aren't they? And the credits are starting to come up.
And she says, "Oh, it's okay. None of them are dead. They all just need to go to A&E."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh yeah, I took the liberty of checking everyone's pulses." She says something like, "None of them are going to look pretty in their yearbook, but they'll be fine."
But even though she just said assembly is going to be depressing on Monday.
So, what have I just watched this film for? They're all fine.
And then they all leave, and the credits roll, and the film ends. I don't think I need to ask, but what did you think?
This was hot garbage.
Yes, it was.
It was not funny. It was not scary. It was not gory. It was cheap. It sounded terrible. The performances were awful. It was a waste of my time. This is the worst. I think this is one of the worst things we have seen. Full stop.
No. Really?
100%.
Wow.
There's not many things this is right down there for me.
Wow.
Just, there might be things that I liked less.
Yeah.
But I think this is pretty much the worst thing. Technically, performance-wise.
Worse than Hotbot?
Script-wise. It's down there with that, yeah.
Wow.
That's the level I'm looking at this.
I didn't hate this.
Didn't.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I liked it. I didn't like it. But I didn't hate it.
I struggled to see many redeeming features about this one.
Yeah, I completely understand all of your points, but for me, it doesn't take a lot of changes to make this into a half decent film.
Yeah, but they didn't do that.
But no, they didn't. But but that's what I was thinking at the end. I was like, yeah, you could have made that so much better, and it wouldn't have taken a lot. All you need to do is show the deaths. Yeah,
and I've said before, I'm not like a massive fan of this genre, and I'm not particularly like a gore hound, but what am I watching this film for if that's not in here? Yeah, you need to have those kids die. Yeah. And you need to have them die gorily or comically. A bit like, do you remember Tucker and Dale? We mentioned Tucker and Dale versus Evil before. Yeah, we have, yeah. If they've done it in that sort of vein, where you have these kids get murdered in a comedy way. Yeah, Little Evil, The Babysitter. Yeah, we've seen good examples since we've been doing this show. The Babysitter's a great show, actually. This film's very similar to that. Similar sort of style. It's probably the closest one you can compare them to. This is when The Babysitter goes wrong. Yeah, because you only have to put in comedy death scenes or really gory death scenes. You've got a half-decent film. The story's not bad. The story's there of this revenge from the suicidal girl's dad. That's feasible. I think if you are marketing and selling and writing it and producing it, and you are just going with the simple premise, this is the Breakfast Club with a serial killer, then there is a good concept there and you can probably do something with it. But this is executed with no panache. Yeah. no style, no. I just don't see the redeeming features. I just thought this was awful, absolutely awful. Yeah, it's not for me at all.
I think I've got you back a little bit in this one because remember when we watched The Anomaly, and you said the one thing that made you enjoy that film was knowing that I would hate it so much. I think I've got my revenge a little bit on you here because I was watching this thinking Nick's gonna fucking hate this, and I'm really enjoying that fact.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it,
fair
but
play.
then slasher films are kind of my thing. I really enjoy slasher films, and I don't care if they're bad or good. I just quite enjoy the concept of them, and I really like schlocky B movies. And this kind of ticked a few boxes for me. Don't get me wrong, it is the worst film we've seen, and when we get to the stream table, there's only one place it's going. But I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. I didn't like it. But I also didn't hate it. There's something there that sometimes you can't wait for these films to end, and I didn't get to that.
I did. I felt like it went on forever.
But it's really short.
It is, but I felt like it was on forever. Like I said, at that point where just before like the bad guy turns up, I thought I'd been watching this for an hour and a quarter. I was 45 minutes in. I was only halfway through.
Wow.
I was disheartened.
It's only like an hour and 20 minutes if you take the credits out and the credits at the beginning out. I quite enjoyed the character of Kevin. If I had one redeeming character, I think he was the best character in it.
Of all of them, he was the most underserved.
Yeah, he was quite fleshed out as a character.
But he wasn't in it enough. Yeah, he was the most hard done by in terms of the amount of time given in the script.
Yeah, I think you make him more prominent if you're going to remake this film properly, because he's like the scrawny, gay, black Bible basher, and that's quite a rounded character.
He turned his ankle and he decided, well, that's it. I'm
done. Yeah,
he's just given that pep talk, and then, well, that was it. I've turned my ankle, so I'm just going to lie down and wait to be killed.
Yeah.
Or not, as the case may be.
I'm so disappointed that you didn't get to see any gory. This film needs gory or comedy deaths. That's it. Yeah. That's the only thing that would push it right up there.
It's just a total non-event for me.
Yeah.
Total non-event. I like I say, I probably, there's other stuff I've disliked more, but this is down there as...
Technically, as a film.
Quality-wise, this is one of the worst things we've seen. It's on Hotbot level. I think that's a good comparison of about where I've got it.
I don't think it's anywhere near Hotbot. I think Hotbot didn't finish bottom of the stream table. We've mentioned this before, but we always class it now as the worst film we've seen, don't we? It's like, it's weird. That's the one film that sticks out to me as being terrible out of every one we've watched. So whenever I think of, this is a terrible film, I'd always compare it to Hotbot, even though it didn't finish bottom of the stream table.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, this is a piece of shit.
Shall we move on to the stream table? Or no, let's do our trivia questions first.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
I can go first. I will be really kind, and I'm going to give you one that I avoid. No problem. Didn't even feel it. That I've already mentioned the answer to.
Okay.
And we'll see if you were listening.
Probably not.
So, what's the title of the essay that they wrote?
Well, we debated about what the essay was even about.
Yeah, but I want the actual... Miss Presley clearly states the title of the essay is...
Don't know. It's something like You and Me, but I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah, you want to not give it a guess?
No, it's not going to come to me.
It's The Me You Don't See.
I knew it had a you and a me in it, but no, I never would have got that. What's the name of the high school?
I've not got that because I've written the name of the prison.
That was my other question.
I was 100% sure you were going to ask me the name of the prison.
That was my other question. They do mention the name of the high school, and it is written on the side of the school bus as they pull into the yard at the beginning of the film.
Don't think I have picked that up.
Do you want to have a guess?
Yeah, I sure do. Is it the Wayview High School?
No.
Damn it.
It's the Wayview
prison. That's the name of the prison. Yeah, no.
It's the Nielsen High School.
No, I never would have got that.
No. So is that are we still on 2-2?
Yes.
After 5 now?
Yeah.
Bad week. We both got them wrong. That's not good. But we keep keeping up with each other, so that is good, I guess. Stream table. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, just put it at the bottom.
Yeah. What is at the bottom currently?
This.
No, before this.
Arc.
Yeah, it's worse than Arc. Simple.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be interesting now, actually, because...
You're going to keep it there all season.
Well, I know. I think this could lead to a lot of arguments, because I think it will really take something to be worse than this.
And I don't. I think there are worse films out there.
Won't.
So yeah, it could be. There's a couple of films in there now that we'd argue about because you think Ark's in the wrong place.
I'd have only had it one higher.
Yeah, but eventually that's going to become a lot.
So far, haven't
that's
we?
going to become a lot bigger gap eventually. So there's going to be more arguments in this season, I think, as we go through it. I can just see that, especially when it comes to films down at the bottom.
Yeah, well, it depends how passionate I get about wanting to keep this how far down. But.
I will tell you now, I don't think this will be the bottom of the stream table when this season finishes.
Okay, we shall see.
That just leaves us to pick next week's film, I guess.
Sure.
I'm going to press the button now. Are you ready?
I am.
It has picked a film called Peelers.
Okay.
Any ideas?
Fruit?
Fruits or potatoes? Potato peelers, maybe. Peelers. Right, I found it. You ready for the synopsis?
Yep.
A small town strip club owner must defend her bar, her strippers, and her life when violent infected patrons show up on the final closing night and all hell breaks loose.
What? What's not to love?
It sounds like a zombie film by the sounds of it.
Well, we've not done zombies yet this season, so let's go for it.
I'm just looking through the cast list. I can't see anybody that's... Oh, Manny Jacinto's in it.
Okay.
Who is the guy from The Good Place.
Yeah.
I really like him.
He's cool.
He's quite low down on the list. I don't know how long he's going to be in it for, but...
Let's do it. Peelers it is.
Peelers. So, yeah, go out and watch Peelers. And we'll be back next week and we'll talk about Peelers.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.